Yun-Chul Hong from Seoul National University, from Republic of Korea, who will talk about transboundary air pollution. Please.
As Rocco Kim said, that the transboundary air pollution is a challenging issue in the Asia-Pacific region, but also it's a really challenging issue in the Southeast Asian region. So I will talk about this issue in Asia. Next, please. Transboundary air pollution, by definition, is an air pollution generated in one country and impacting in others. So these pollutants can be transported thousands of kilometers, affecting other regions. But the transboundary air pollution does not have a uniform nature. So it has different sources, such as urban air pollution, forest or peatland fire, or dust and sandstorm. So we identified the three major transboundary air pollution in Asia. The one is ASEAN haze, the other one is dust and sandstorm in East Asia, and the Indo-Gangetic Plain haze. Next, please. Next, please. This is a satellite image. It clearly showed what is the nature of transboundary air pollution. So this is about the dust and sandstorm. Actually, they are moving such a dust from the east to the west to Japan. So it's, but actually this seems to come from the Korea, but actually that actually come from the Mongolia and the China in the west. Next, please. But in East Asia, not just have the dust and sandstorm issues, there are really the air pollution migration issue, sometimes called the haze. So they clearly show that transboundary air pollution does not respect any national borders, and there is no actually jurisdiction for this transboundary air pollution. Next, please. Almost 10 years ago, they researched with the Beijing University to survey the path of the dust and sandstorm. So our research team went to the Alashan and Beijing and Seoul, it's a three spots, and measured the air pollution level, PM2.5 and PM10, and analyzed the chemical components, and finally produced a backward trajectory of this dust and sandstorm, clearly showing the path from the desert area to the western part, to the Seoul. So this is the nature of transboundary dust and sandstorm. So this Asian dust may play as a direct cause or as an effect modifier in terms of the health effect. So you can see the origin of dust. The dust actually comes from the desert area, but it picks up the local air pollutants in the path, mostly the China. And going to the Korea and Japan, but it also picks up the local air pollution there. So the Asian dust give direct effects on health, but also it may act as an effect modifier on the effect of anthropogenic air pollution. That is the nature of the Asian dust. Next, please. We analyzed the country contribution to PM2.5 in Seoul by neighboring countries, including China and North Korea. So the gray peak, it's the 1 year concentration monitoring in 2016. The gray peak is total concentration, but red line is actually the air pollution emission from China migrating to South Korea. The blue line is domestic air pollution in South Korea, and green one is from the North Korea. So in the winter time, the Chinese air pollution come to Korea dominantly, but in the summertime, domestic air pollution is dominant in South Korea. So next, please. And we calculate country-specific attributable mortality to PM2.5 in South Korea, and we found that more than 50% actually contribute from China to the attributable mortality in South Korea. And the domestic contribution is about 30 to 40%, and even North Korea contribute to South Korea mortality. It's around less than 5%. Next, please. But we have another major, the transboundary air pollution in Asia. That is a haze air pollution in Southeast Asian countries. Mostly that is from the landscape fires. So for example, peatland fires is common from the Indonesia and some places of Malaysia. And it frequently occurs during the dry season. You can see the image. There is a fire. It's going over the large areas, and you can see the urban city, the landscape. Next please. This is another satellite image. We had the high haze episode in 2015 in Southeast Asia. So this is a NASA satellite image showing the extent of the haze at the time and also of the urban landscape with the severe haze. Next, please. 2016, Koprich et al. Actually published this paper. This is the contribution from the smoke, contribution of smoke from the neighboring province. For example, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, you can see the green part of the bar. The green part of the bar is from the Sumatra of Indonesia. So the Singapore, the pollution level, much contributed by the Indonesian, the emission mostly from the forest fire. So the Malaysia also. Next please. But Southeast Asia, not just we have the haze, there is also transboundary issue in the northern part. For example, the Thailand. So Thailand, the next please. Next slide, please. So for the Thailand, actually the northern part of Thailand, you can see the different colors of bars. The pink is the domestic contribution of the pollution in northern Thailand. But the brown and the yellow color is from the neighboring areas, mostly the Myanmar. So the damage, actually around 0.5% of the air pollution is from the neighboring areas. Next, please. We also have another transboundary pollution in Indo-Gangetic plain. So the frequently there is a haze over there, but that area is actually the India and the Nepal there. Next, please. For example, in the Lumbini, Lumbini is the well-known as a place of the Buddha birth. So it should be sacred place without no major emission source there. But there is high air pollution in Lumbini. And the contribution of the domestic air pollution is only about 25%. The majority actually from the outside, including India. Next, please. So it's a really complicated issue. How do we address? Next, please. How do we solve this puzzle? Next, please. From my experience and in the historical experience, we cannot proceed further when any stakeholders are not dissatisfied. So we need to take a win-win strategy. But still, we don't have much scientific evidence. So that is the first thing. But we should not finger point each other. If we do that, there is no progress. So we should take no blaming policy. But fundamentally, it's very important for the capacity building, particularly the monitoring capacity of the nations, of the PM2.5 or other air pollutants, and also the capacity of the scientists, also some capacity of making a good policy for the government officers. So that is about the capacity building. Next. But most importantly, the transboundary air pollution by nature requires international collaboration. Without that, we cannot solve anything. So that is the most important. Next, please. So this is a final one. Last week, we had the workshop for transboundary air pollution in Seoul under the framework of regional forum, and that is a TWJQ activities supported by the WHO web pro. Thank you very much.